Hello everyone, I am Renowned to Zero, and today we're going to be talking about Gina Carano calling out the Hollywood Reporter's Richard Newby as a journalist who sold out America and exposes his utter ignorance. We're going to jump right into this article here from Bounding in the Comics, written by John and Trent. Gina Carano calls out Hollywood Reporter's Richard Newby as a journalist who sold out America and exposes his utter ignorance. Terror on the Prairie actress and former The Mandalorian star Gina Carano recently ripped into the Hollywood Reporter's Richard Newby, calling him a sellout journalist and claiming that he sold out America. Carano's comments came after Newby asserted he would never stop laughing at the fact that Carano could have had her own Star Wars series. She was going to. Toys, she already had them. Book, comics, and apparel. She already had the apparel. It's actually, I'm pretty sure Disney still sells the apparel for Cara Dune. He added, quote, "She was that close. She didn't just fumble the bag. She dumped it out, put it over her head, and cut off the air supply." Newby's comments were in response to a user claiming that Carano's Terror on the Prairie film only earned $804 at the box office when it only had one showing, was exclusively released on Daily Wire Plus. That just shows the utter ignorance of this person. Point blank, period, caught in 4K. You're so stupid. Shut up. And we got the tweet here. Despite working for the Hollywood Reporter, Newby would seemingly be unaware that Terror on the Prairie released exclusively on Daily Wire Plus, at least at the time. In response to a user claiming that none of Carano's supporters bought a ticket to see the film, Newby replied, quote, "Because they're not really supporters." This person says, "She's got a lot of supporters, none of whom will buy a ticket to see her movie, though, because they're not really supporters." See, now, that's incorrect. A lot of people signed up for Daily Wire Plus just because they brought on Gina Carano and brought back her career and put her in this movie, and they wanted to see her act in this movie. So that's 100% incorrect. Carano responded to Newby's comments, writing, quote, "Here's a contributor of the Hollywood Reporter who repeatedly joins in an online mob of mostly anonymous accounts harassing me." She then informed him that about Terror on the Prairie's exclusive release on Daily Wire Plus. Quote, "Are you aware that we released Terror on the Prairie exclusively on the Daily Wire and you didn't know that? Or are ignorance and spreading hate your only purpose here?" I would say he's 100% ignorant, low IQ, and yes, he's probably just on here to spread hate. Carano then addressed Newby's claims that she fumbled the bag. She wrote, "I didn't fumble the bag, I just didn't go along with the sellout narrative. The online mob couldn't handle that, so they petitioned to have me fired and won." Yes, because Disney is a trash company, and they wanted her to sit in front of a bunch of trans people and apologize to them for supposedly offending them, which she did not do. It's 100% what she did not do. And I've met Gina Carano in real life. She's a very sweet person. She seems extremely happy now that she's with Daily Wire over being at the trash company that is Disney. She then went after Newby, describing him as a sellout journalist and one who sold out America. Carano tweeted, quote, "The genuine bag fumble is sellout journalists like you who sold out America and stopped asking questions to be liked by a fickle, manipulated mob. This is what you valued, and that will be your legacy," Carano proclaimed, which, by the way, I didn't even know who this person was until he said all this crap to Gina Carano, which I'm pretty sure in real life she would probably knock him the fuck out, and he would never say any of this to her face. She then informed her followers that Newby blocked her after she fired back at him. I mean, look at this guy. This guy is hideous. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Newby's claim about Carano fumbling the bag is utterly ridiculous. For those who don't remember or have bought the false narrative peddled by individuals like Richard Newby, Carano was fired by Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company for posting a meme warning about the dangers of hating your neighbor. Carano posted a screenshot from Warrior Priesty Gym podcast to her Instagram stories. It read, quote, "Jews were beaten in the streets, not by WW2 soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children." It then featured a quote that stated, "Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where WW2 soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?" Which is exactly what we're doing now. As you saw in one of my last videos, a trans activist got the Limited Run Games community manager fired because she was a conservative and didn't like her political views. This is the world we now live in. Accompanying these words was an image of children wielding blunt weapons chasing down a woman in undress. And you can see the Instagram story here. Following this post, an anonymous Disney spokesman announced Carano's firing and accused her of denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities, something that she did not do. 100% proven fact that she did not do that. You could see it from the Instagram post. The spokesman stated, quote, "Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future." Well, you lost a lot of business right after you fired Gina Carano, and the hashtag cancel Disney Plus was trending for like a week, and a lot of people canceled their Disney Plus subscription over the firing of Gina Carano for her political views. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their culture and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. That's something that she wasn't doing. There's nothing wrong with this meme, and the Auschwitz Memorial even posted a similar sentiment back in 2018. They tweeted, quote, "When we look at the Auschwitz, we see the end of the process. It's important to remember that the bad thing that happened during WW2 actually did not start from gas chambers. This hatred gradually developed from words, stereotypes, and prejudice through legal exclusion, dehumanization, and escalating bad things." I'm actually going to skip over all this and scroll down to here. Warning about hating people and the disastrous consequences it can lead is not fumbling the bag. It's far from it. However, Newby appears to engage in hating people as he's consistently targeted individuals like Carano that he appears to disagree with politically, because, once again, this is a moron, a low IQ person who's probably a leftist, most likely a leftist, and doesn't understand that he's actually part of the party that's been racist towards his race. But, of course, he's been brainwashed and he's essentially stupid. At the beginning of last year, Newby asserted that Evangeline Lilly was spinning herself out of the MCU along with Letitia Wright after she protested against the COOF mandates, which, by the way, will happen to my body, my choice. It's my body. I can choose what I put in my body. You can go fuck yourself. Newby tweeted Evangeline Lilly about to spin herself right out of the MCU alongside Letitia, which, by the way, Letitia was the female Black Panther, and Evangeline Lilly is still in Ant-Man, so even after all that, get fucked. Kick rocks. In question by a user, Newby claimed Lilly should be silenced because she wasn't a scientist. And what does that have to do with my body, my choice, and what I put in my body, dipshit? The answer is go fuck yourself. Evangeline Lilly isn't a scientist last time I checked, and neither are you. And neither are you, dipshit. Neither are you. It's not a matter of opinion. It is. It's a matter of public health. No, it's not. What is so hard about this? Go fuck yourself. Newby also pushed Amazon Studios' narrative that supported the J.R.R. Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings artists because they wanted an accurate adaptation of Tolkien's Second Age rather than the abomination that Prime Video put forth. Yes, because people who actually like Tolkien, who are real fans of Tolkien and real fans of Lord of the Rings, just want when you're doing an adaptation to stick to the lore and canon. Which clearly you're not a real fan if you don't care about canon and lore. You were never a real fan if you don't care about canon and lore. Newby's accusation was actually published by the Hollywood Reporter in an article titled "An Ist Backlash to Rings of Power Puts Tolkien's Legacy into Focus." No, it doesn't. Tolkien's legacy is that he made amazing fantasy stories that were masterfully, I wouldn't say perfectly, masterfully adapted in Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, best movie of all time, and Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. They're still all masterpieces. They are the best trilogy ever made, and they still hold up to this day, between 20 and 22 years later. In the article, Newby opined the only reason folks have to complain about the casting is a result of bigotry. No, it's actually a result of canon and lore, despite attempts to cover their own asses with claims of bad acting and not enough experience. Yes, none of them had experience, and they're all terrible acting. That's why I got beat out by House of the Dragon. At the end of it all, and the Nielsen ratings for most people watching the show. What the discourse over Rings of Power has made clear is that we're living in a rationalization of ism. No, we're living in a rationalization of shitty writers, shitty directors, shitty actors, shitty directors, shitty writers who want to take an established IP and they want to do their own little twist on it and ignore years of canon and lore to fit their agenda. People who constantly consume corporate media to give their little smooth brains some character while boasting profile pictures from popular IP are now crying that fans of Rings of Power are supporting the evil ethics of Amazon and Jeff Bezos. It could be true. Don't they? I don't fully agree with that, actually. Newby continued, so-called Tolkien purists are using Jackson's film as armor to support all-white casting, despite that Jackson and co-writers Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens made many significant changes to Tolkien's novels when adapting the film, including playing with the timeline and adding new characters just like Rings of Power. The difference is, the 3 Lord of the Rings movies were masterpiece films, whereas Rings of Power was complete, hot, and utter dog shit. That's the huge difference. Peter Jackson made 3 perfect films, whereas Rings of Power was garbage. It was hot dog shit that was spent, they spent $1 billion and it was trash and will be utterly forgotten in about 5 years. And that's why they had to reboot the series essentially after 1 season, and supposedly an all-female directors are somehow going to fix the garbage that is Rings of Power. Once again, it got beat out in the Nielsen ratings by the end of it all, of season 1, by House of the Dragon. And I think even Cobra Kai, which Cobra Kai is perfect. Cobra Kai is how you take original established lore and continue the story while introducing new characters and then telling what the old characters are up to while bringing in the new characters and not forgetting about the old characters. But you, newbie, live in a fantasy world of everyone you disagree with is either an ist, a bigot, or should not be able to speak because you feel that you're the only correct line of thinking and everyone else's is wrong. So when it comes to an established IP like Lord of the Rings, people want it to be adapted properly and not changed for diversity's sake, diversity for diversity's sake, not diversity of thought. And that's what you fail to realize. You fail to realize that Tolkien's legacy will always be complete and around forever. His legacy will live on forever, considering he made great fantasy books that even people to this day still read, unlike you, who've made shitty articles for a shitty news outlet, and no one will remember who you are. You will be lost to the wind, forgotten almost entirely besides your family, and nobody will give a shit about you, your shitty articles, or the shitty newspaper that you write for. Or news site that you write for, excuse me. But that's going to be the end of the video today, guys. Thank you all for checking it out. I appreciate all the new subscribers we've gotten, and all the returning subscribers, and all the returning viewers and new viewers we've gotten. If you did like the video, hit the like button. Comment below what you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. And set it to all. That way you get notifications every time I post a new video. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.